The first thing you do with either method is to trace the outline of the outside of the flower. So I'm going to do that by going to the trace panel, selecting my flower, and moving the threshold all the way to the top until the entire thing turns yellow. For this one, it was 100%. Then I'm going to trace, and now you'll see I have a total outline of the flower, which is exactly where I wanted to start. Start by zooming in to see the lines of the flower clearly. One way to add the interior lines to the flower is by using the freehand tools, the pencil, on the left-hand toolbar. Choose the second pencil option, which is the Draw Smooth Freehand tool, and begin drawing the interior lines little by little, choosing the pencil each time in order to work in a new area. Continue adding lines until you have your desired effect. This does take time depending on your design. Once I think that most of the lines have been added, I pull my flower graphic away from the drawn lines so that I can check and make sure I have the desired effect. I start the second trace exactly like I started the first one, by going to the trace window and selecting my trace area. Again, I'm going to trace the outside of the flower. I do this by moving the threshold almost to 100, even 99, 100, and then just trace. Now the outside only is trace. I'll show you. Okay. And now I want more detail than my putting in the lines by hand, also time consuming. So I'm going to select my same trace area as I did before. And this time I'm going to change the fill to outline instead of solid fill. When I do this, it always takes at least sometimes up to a minute, sometimes 10 seconds, but I just wait until all of the yellow turns to little dots. The minute it turns to little dots, it's already going to give me some of the inside stuff that I like. Now I can go up and add more, although I kind of like this one the way it was. So back down to 45, you can see it gives me all of the inside lines that I'm looking for. Remember, the outside's already traced, and I'm going to click Trace. Now, what it looks like is this. Now, I like the little stuff, so that's why I do it that way. The more you click, the more some of the little stuff comes apart. But you see how quickly that came together as opposed to doing the inside lines by hand drawing them. Now, for this one, I'm going to go ahead and add registration marks. I did another video that showed how to do kind of invisible registration marks by using post-it tape or replaceable paper, repositionable paper, by covering over the place that the registration marks would be. So I'm going to go back to my registration marks and turn them on. I already have this placed so that it won't bother anything, and I'm going to go ahead and send it to the printer. And here it comes off of my printer with registration marks and the two flowers printed. They look exactly the same. They just have different trace lines for the foil quill to follow. I put my printed flowers onto my mat, then I added the foil, making sure it was taut, and I sent it to my Cameo using these settings. And here are the results. The first one is the one we traced the outline and then went back and added in the hand-drawn lines. The second one is where we traced the outline and then added a second trace, and we did the inside using outline instead of solid fill. All of it is total personal choice. This is pretty bright because I used a contrasting color, but in real life, it looks beautiful.